Part 2.
Today is the last day.
Hey everybody, it's Jack from Atlantis Water Gardens. Welcome back to part 2 for this Rochester pond build. If you weren't here for part 1, check it out right here. We built a constructed wetland filter, built a beautiful looking stream, deep stream section. We got our pond started. We got a wall built down inside our pond liner that's going to support our patio coming right over the edge. The guys have gotten themselves rocking and rolling on the lower section of this pond. A couple fish caves are in. We're at the point now where we're going to finish up the bottom, installing our lights, and we're going to do some aeration here as well. Then we can go ahead and set our whole top edge of this pond section, followed by our intake-based skimmer. Things that we're going to finish on this part of the video are our constructed wetland filter. It's built. Now we've got to go ahead and dress it up. We'll set rock work around the top edge, giving it that top pond feel, really making it blend in. We've got some outcroppings. Pond will get buttoned up along with learning how we install an intake-based skimmer. And if you don't know what the heck an intake-based skimmer is or why we build one, stick around, we're gonna show you. So I'm inside the pond. I want all of our water suction to be coming to this far end over here. We're gonna do that by drawing it across the surface with our intake-based skimmer. Now Anthony is digging this out. This is gonna be the footprint of the actual aqua blocks. We've got 3 across and then 3 deep. And on this back corner, we're gonna be installing the pump vault. So essentially all the water that's in the system coming from the waterfalls and then the aeration pushing out is gonna be drawn into this area where it'll be available for collection with a skimmer net. Once this is all excavated, we're going down 18 inches here. The reason I'm not putting a berm in to actually block this is because then it puts a big fold in the liner, so I want to have this come in nice and clean. And what we'll do once we put the blocks in is actually put a bib liner in front of it, which is going to kind of make the water come up over the top of the blocks instead of coming through the face. So now when I'm talking about aqua blocks, this is what I'm talking about. These are units designed to create a void for water storage. We'll have 9 of these nice and flat laid out with a pump vault behind it, basically a place that we can actually put our pump in and have it draw water. And the idea here is the water will be skimmed, it'll come over the top of the blocks, be drawn down where it can be accessible for the pump. We're gonna get this excavation done, then I'm gonna show you how we do all those things I just talked about. The excavation is finished. We went ahead and pulled our liner back into our excavation. Back where Kevin's standing, that's the sump for where the pump vault is going to go, which is this guy right here. And then we're gonna lay our aqua blocks in here after we put our fabric in. When the vault goes in the sump, the top of what we call the foot is even with the surface that's in front of it. The aqua block is gonna slide right on top of this up against the vault, and then we'll go ahead and put the rest of the aqua blocks in here. We're using 9 of the small aqua blocks to make this intake. When we're all finished, this should just look like an extension of the pond. All the aqua blocks are installed along with the pump vault on the back side. Now, if we just left it like this, water would be pulled right through the front of these blocks and you wouldn't get any skimming action whatsoever. What we did was take a piece of scrap liner, put it underneath the front row of blocks, and Kevin's gonna show us how we wrap it up like a burrito. Right, buddy? So by doing that, we'll do our rock work in front of it. The water's gonna be forced to go up over the top of this, and that's where the skimming action is gonna happen. The top of these blocks are about 8 inches below water. When we bring our rock work in, we're gonna choke this down to maybe 18 inches wide. So we should get a nice flow going in here, and then it opens up inside the intake where you've got easy removal with a skimmer net. And go. And I don't think it's gonna work. And go. Just tell me what you're doing real quick. You can do it in Spanish, we'll translate it. Right now, Boley is doing his detail work. This is our retaining wall that's actually built inside the pond. Now we've got our patio that's gonna come out over the top of it. He's actually scribing this paver to fit right inside that rock work, so when it's done, it's gonna be super clean. These will all get glued down on top. Our liner for the pond is up on top of the wall, which is 3 inches above water level. Then we're gonna go ahead and bring that paver work right up to the back of this, just completing the whole transition. Now you're like, Jack, the wall's gray, pavers are brown. It doesn't matter. You really won't even see it. This is your view, looking straight down into the water. You don't see I'm right over the top of it. You don't even see the wall. We cantilever the paver over just a little bit just to complete that whole look. And when he's done, what an awesome edge to this pond.
So over here we're building a stacked slate wall. I don't know what's going on top.
You're just going, huh?
I'm just building.
So in this cove over here, we're incorporating some more of that stacked slate element that we've used over in the deep stream area, as well as over here next to where they did the wall. So I like to have touches of those same elements like throughout the pond in different areas, so then it makes sense and it's cohesive. What Anthony's gonna do is get that wall built up, then we're gonna drop a big flat rock out on top of it, kind of sticking out over the top of the wall. It's gonna be a really awesome look. Over in this cove, there's actually going to be an aeration diffuser as well. So when that's turned on, those air bubbles are gonna push up against the wall and shove anything out of that corner, so nothing's gonna get stuck back there. And that's actually only about 18 inches deep. We've got a second diffuser, which is down in our 3-foot section. Number one, anytime you have aeration, it's always a good thing. Number two, the reason I like putting one up in the shallow is you can use that as a winter de-icer. So here in New York and New Jersey, where we're from, we get ice on the ponds. And if you have an aerator that's up in the shallows, that agitation from the air will keep a hole open in the ice for gas exchange if you've got fish in the pond. So they've got waste, other organics breaking down, creating gases that can be harmful if there's not a hole open for the pond to degas. So what will happen in the wintertime is that bottom aerator will be turned off. The top one will be running full steam ahead and really keeping that hole open in the ice for that to happen. So me, Kev Dog, and Chancho have been busy working on this. Where's Chancho? He's back there in the woods. We're working on this intake. And you guys saw that come together earlier with the aqua blocks and that bib liner that came up in front of the blocks. That's what that piece of liner is right there. We brought it up in between our rock work and the reservoir itself. So now what's going to happen is we'll actually cut the liner up in here, probably foam that. We'll cut it back in there and foam it up. We'll lay that down over the blocks just a little bit and cut it. Now the water has no choice but to come in here over the top of the blocks, creating that skimming action. We're gonna naturalize the inside of this whole area here, making it look like just a part of the pond, and that'll be completing our intake-based skimmer.
Today is the last day.
The man said it all. Today's the last day. We got some water in the pond last night. The color in this gravel is spectacular. I love it. And you can see how black that granite is that's inside the bottom. Anthony is hopefully going to finish up that stacked slate work this morning. That's literally the only piece we have left, is just close that up and the pond is done. Which leaves us one last piece. Finish up this constructed wetland filter. We're gonna be placing some rock work to make this look like a small pond up here. So we're gonna kind of just give it in a regular shape. We've got to finish this last section of waterfall that comes out of the wetland. There's gonna be some foaming that has to happen behind these rocks, and then some placement of some outcroppings to kind of frame this all in. We do have to finish the plumbing here. Right up in here, we're gonna put a manifold. We're gonna split the plumbing We're gonna feed maybe a quarter of the pump down to the bottom. We wanna come up through that wetland nice and slow. The rest of the water we're gonna dump right on top, so this way it's just bypassing, but giving us the volume we need for all these waterfalls going back into the pond. Then it's hooking up lights, hooking up the plumbing, get all the grading done, and get this place cleaned up. Now that they actually see water in the pond, I think it's really hitting them now that they actually have this in their backyard. What an amazing effort. 5 days. These guys kicked some major butt out here. This turned out fantastic. Thank all of you. Like individually, you guys have all done a fantastic job. I'm so happy that they are part of our family here at Atlantis Water Gardens. Now we've had Walter and Ann waiting inside for the last 2 hours. I said you can't look. We had to do some test running. It's up and running. It looks incredible. You want to go get them? Yeah. Let's go get them. Let's do this. All right, guys.
Oh my God! Oh, whoa!
And I know you were the waterfall person.
Yes.
How did we do?
Oh my God, amazing!
Oh, guys,
This is a dream come true.